paper P and Q, which are exactly the same. He crumples paper P as shown in the figure. Which of the following statements about P and Q is true? A. P has more weight than Q. B. Q has more weight than P. C. P and Q have equal weight. Or D. P and Q both have no weight.
I think that Q has more mass because when the sheet P is got crushed, his mass gets lesser.
His mass gets smaller.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I think because his size got reduced.
If a paper is crumpled, the density is more than a paper which is not crumpled.
Sir, because of crumpling, there may be some air in between of the crumples in paper P, and it may become heavier. And when we drop it, because of the heaviness, it may not react to the air, and the paper Q, it has no air stored in it, so it will fall floating in the air.
So you are saying when we crumple the paper, air gets trapped.
Some
inside.
air may be trapped inside.
And that increases what?
Weight.
It increases the weight.
Yeah.
While it
When we hold it in hand, we can feel this is a bit
So
heavier.
if you hold a plain sheet of paper and
Yeah.
a crumpled paper,
Yeah.
you are saying
We
you
can-
feel the crumpled paper heavier?
No, it's a bit heavier than paper Q.
Bit heavier than paper.
Yeah.
If we take two papers, the weight will be same only. When we crush one paper, we can try in our hand and see. If we crush one paper, we just feel that it's little weight. You only feel, but it's not.
Students' understanding of mass is very much related to the way they measure it. The most basic thing they do is feel which object is heavier. For example, I take an object in my hand, say a pencil and a compass box, and I feel which one is heavier. I can say that the pencil box is heavier. And that's what most of us do. We go by perception, the feeling of what is heavier. No matter what the size or the shape of the object is, no matter whether it's on Earth or Moon or anywhere, as long as the amount of matter in it does not change, the mass will not change.
We can take an example of a box, also pencil box. If we open it, it's halfway weight is here and half weight is here. If we close it, it will increase the weight of the box. So
Before crumbling, both the paper had seemed equal, as both of them's size was equal. When we crumble the paper, then the amount of weight that had in the total paper comes down into a small body. So when wider things is rolled or being forced to change their shape by any other object or human force, then the weight that is scattered over comes and joins into one small body. So when it comes and joins into one small body, the total weight is together.
In the both paper, the mass is the same, but the weight can change. Mass cannot change anytime, but weight can change. But in this case, the weight of the P increases.
Why?
Because it's crushed. It's being heavier. That's why.
You just said that the mass is not increased. So how can it be heavier?
Because it's overlapping. I said the first point. Because it's overlapping. It's being crushed. It's not plain. It's overlapping. It's giving the above layer is giving the weight to the lower layer. So that's the weight is increasing.
Like everything is made up of particles. So paper Q, all the particles at their own are at their own places. But when you like crumple them, all the particles come together and it may be like one particle may be above one more particle, so the weight is more. So then all the particles, when they come together, their weight becomes more, because like if on a weighing scale one person stands and it's his weight, but if two people stand, then the weight is more. So if two particles or three particles are there together, then the weight will be more.
We play ball with a crumpled paper, and if we are at the top of the building, we'll throw this paper Q. It will go slightly down, and if we throw this paper P, it will straight away go. So means that its weight is increased.
Its weight has increased. So is it that something that is more weight falls faster?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Is it
sir.
always true?
Yes, sir.
I have an example. If we throw a crushed paper, it will go more far. But if we throw this paper, this will fall here.
Students see various objects falling in their day-to-day life. For example, a feather and a coin falling, or a tennis ball and a leaf falling. And based on that, they made a general model in their mind that heavier objects fall faster. They link the falling of an object to the weight of the object and say that heavier objects fall faster. They link this incorrectly to the weight instead of the correct idea, which is air resistance that the object faces. They don't formally learn about air resistance till class 7, class 8. But still they do see air resistance. For example, a parachute, when it falls, they see that it's the air that pushes it up and keeps it floating in the air.
Paper Q will for a while fly in the air, whereas the paper P will directly go on the ground because it has less surface of area, and hence the gravitational force will pull it more faster.
When you crumple it, what do you add to it that the weight increases? That's the main question.
Yeah.
What do you add to that substance that the weight increases?
That's a reasonable
the main
question.
thing.
Does somebody want to answer that question? Those of you who think the answer is A, he's asking what do you add to the paper when you crumple it so that its weight increases?
I think that he said that, but how is it going down faster? Means if he's not added anything, the weight has not increased. Why is it going down faster if it's supposed to be the same weight?
Resistance is increasing.
Okay, so
But still, it's falling faster. So there must be something that's pulling it down so much.
That is because of the air resistance acting upon the larger surface area and the crumpled papers area.
okay.
Like when a person is falling without a parachute, he will fall faster than a person who is falling with a parachute. That explains that a larger surface area, more the air resistance.
Student responses over the last few minutes was that students have certain mental models, ways of thinking about the world, certain ideas, and clearly these ideas are not what we intended to pass on to them as teachers or interested adults. These are ideas children have found by actively trying to make sense of what they are seeing around them or what has been taught. What is however important to understand here is that the instinctual reaction of adults or teachers when they see these kind of responses is to say that let me explain this again, let me explain this more clearly, 2 times if not thrice. This is bound to fail. So what we find is that it's extremely important for a teacher to listen first, find out what is already on the child's mind, to then help the child to review the correctness of this idea, weigh it against other ways of thinking, other mental models, to really be able to say that no, this didn't work and this is a better way of looking at things. And our hope is that teachers start doing this based on seeing films like this. You have seen just one concept, but there are several such ideas across class levels, across topics. And this is our hope, that teachers will become active listeners and we will have a chance to teach our children better.